Hey guys, and welcome back to Excel Tech Mining and Crypto channel. So what I want to actually do today is go through this new Shiba Inu announcement that's been made about the new SHIBA Eternity game. So the SHIB team has actually recently announced that from October 1st, the new Shiba Inu SHIBA Eternity game is actually going to be released, and that 5% of the revenue from SHIBA Eternity is going to be burnt or sent to the actual burnt wallet. So you can see here that this is actually pretty good news. So for those who are hodling Shiba Inu coin, this is really going to help in price in the long run as we reduce the circulating supply of the actual token from 549 trillion tokens or coins. So it's actually already gone through the beta testing in Vietnam already, and I'm in Australia here, so we actually got it released at the beginning of the week, and I've actually been playing it for a couple of days now. So it's a new collectible card game, and I'll go through a quick kind of walkthrough of it later on. But basically this is really good news that basically they've announced that 5% of the revenue is actually going to be burnt or sent to the burnt wallet. So this is actually pretty exciting, that some of the utility or some of the efforts that we've been talking about the last year is actually starting to come into fruition. So you say it was announced, so it says, you know, it was announced about 12 months ago, and they're announcing the worldwide release of it on October 1st, 2022. So I've been actually playing it for a week now, and looking at how much Shiba Inu we're actually going to be able to burn. I've done some calculations to see how much is actually going to help us to actually further our course. So after looking at the numbers, you know, the Shiba Eternity game is going to help us in a big way, but at the same time, it's not going to be enough. So, you know, we got to wait for Shibarium to come out and really have the burns on every transaction and things like that, and all the other projects we've got in the works basically to burn SHIB tokens. So with wellies and all those other kind of projects, we need more of it to be actually more tokens to be burned in the long run. But it is actually a really good step and a big, you know, kind of big step forward. And you know, it's really exciting to see what will happen October 1st. And I've come to this site here, and it's got some statistics on card games, so mobile card games. And it's actually mentioned in this original article, some of the total revenue, etc. for 2022, and the growth rate in that purchases, etc. So these are all the big figures. So this website here gives us all those figures again. So, you know, the total revenue for the card game segment reached 15.7 billion in 2022. The total revenue expected to show annual growth of 14.36%. In-app purchases for card games was about 5.73 billion, and that's all card games together. So paid revenue in the card games is projected to reach 0.02 billion in 2022. Advertising revenue, so I've looked at the game, there's no actual ads in the game, so this won't apply to SHIB Eternity. So there's 9.96 billion in revenue there. The number of downloads is projected to reach 1.716 million in 2022, and the average revenue per download currently is about $9.14. And so, you know, this website goes through different charts and you know, by revenue, etc. And I think what we're interested in is the average revenue per download. So for 2022, it's saying the average revenue per download is about $9.15, and it's projected to, you know, keep going up every year to about $10.84. So what I've done is actually a quick spreadsheet, and I've taken some of these numbers to see how much SHIB can we actually burn with the actual game, and these are just rough estimates as well. So if we look at our total supply, we have from CoinMarketCap about 549 trillion total tokens, okay? And so that's what I've got here in the total supply. So target supply is $5 trillion. So where have I got this number from? So I did a bit of research on the internet, and this website here, Crypto Spotter, has done a little bit of a calculation in terms of, and you know, it's good for you guys to come over and have a read of this particular article. And basically he's done a few calculations saying that, you know, how many tokens need to be burned for Shiba Inu to reach 1 cent. So if we say our market supply is 450 trillion. That means our market cap will be 4 trillion. So reaching 1 cent will give us a 450 trillion market supply, which is not possible. So he goes through a few of these different scenarios, and his most plausible scenario basically is here. So he says that, let's say SHIB ETERNITY reduces the market supply to around 5 trillion coins, and if SHIB reaches 1 cent with a market supply of 5 trillion, we would have a $50 billion market cap. So as a result, this is very much possible, as SHIB ETERNITY has already reached a market cap of 50 billion during its all-time high. So in order to reach a cent, SHIB ETERNITY needs to reduce market supply to around 5 trillion. So we're going to burn basically from 549 to 5 trillion. Okay, so if we take that target supply as 5 trillion, then the difference is we need to burn off 544 trillion. So what I've done is basically I've taken the downloads and average spend. Okay, so if we, at the moment, the SHIB ETERNITY, if you go onto Google Play, it'll say there's about 1,000 downloads, and I'm not sure what it will be on Apple Store, but let's say the average is around at the moment about 5,000 downloads, and the average download makes about $9.14 according to this particular statistics website here. Average revenue per download currently is expected to be about $9.14. So if we say $5,000 at $9.14, so basically we would make $45,000 in revenue, and 5% of that revenue would be about $2,000. At the current price of SHIB on the 29th of September 2022, it's 401095. So that would basically give us 208 million SHIB sent to the burnt wallet. So what I've done is, like, for 208 million SHIB, so the target supply divided by the SHIB burnt per year would give us how many years it would take from just the game to reach our target supply. So in this case, it's going to take 2.6 million years to get to that point. Okay, so I've taken another statistics here, 1.717. So it says that from this site, it says it's projected to be 1.716 million downloads. Okay, so if we get about 1.7 million downloads and each person spends about $9, we would make about $15 million in revenue. Okay, and 5% of that, we would be burning $784,000 basically per year, which is, here about, I don't know, like 71 billion tokens or something like that. So it would still take 7,591 years to get to this 500, to basically reduce our target supply to 5 trillion. Okay, so what I did was, like, what if we increase the average spend? What if the average person spends $50? So if we get this 1.717 million downloads and each person spends about $50, it'd take 1,387 years to reach our $5 trillion target supply. So I've gone across here, what if we spend $100 per person? $100 per average, $100 per download. So it's still going to take 693 years. And what if we do $200, average spend per download? It would still take 346 years for us to bring the current total circulating supply down to the $5 trillion circulating supply mark. Now, of course, in saying that, that's not how price works, right? So there's other factors in influencing the price besides the circulating supply. So how the price is going to change over time in the next 2 or 3 years or next 5 years, we don't know, because markets, circulating supply is only one metric, right? But if we went by that one metric, on an average spend of $9.41 at 1.71 million downloads, it would take us 7,000 years still to get there. And if we have an average spend of $200, then it would take 346. So it really depends on how much, people are going to spend in game, basically. But if you take that into consideration, let's say the average is about $50, like people willing to spend about $50 in the game, and we get about 1.7 downloads, 1.7 million downloads. So it's going to take 1,387 years to actually bring the current circulating supply down to that $5 trillion mark. But we need to take into consideration now that Shibarium is also coming online soon. So with the burns in Shibarium, how much are we going to actually burn? That's adding to this. So that's another mechanism that's going to reduce this down even faster. So once Shibarium comes online, how many, millions of dollars of revenue is that going to actually burn in the long run? And that's going to actually contribute to reducing the time it takes to be able to reach what we want. And we know that there's also wellies coming online. There's other burn mechanisms that's being implemented in the whole project. So I'd say if you're a long-term hodler, I think we're definitely looking at for SHIB to be looking at the horizons of like a 5 to 10 year kind of like target range, to be able to see 5 to 10 year range, to see basically it moving up to our target of 1 penny basically. And it's a long-term game. So if you're in it for the short term, you're probably not gonna get to that 1 cent mark. But if you bought down here, like I said at the very beginning, $1 ended up being at this pump ended up being $1 million, right? So it's all about what are your expectations and what is your plan. If you're a short-term trader, then you've got to look at, I'm getting it at this price and I'm willing to take profit here, right? So none of these gains are realized until you actually take profit. So you've actually got to have a plan for taking profit. Are you going to take 20% at this level? Are you going to take 10% at this level and leave the rest to ride to the 1 cent? So you could have invested here at 4035, and when it hit the high here at 4008, you decide to say, okay, I'm going to take 20% profit. So that 20% profit might have covered my initial investment already, right? So I've got my original capital back, and now I'm going to leave the rest of the Shiba Inu coin to basically get to the 1 penny mark. So then at that time, you're not in the risk anymore, right? You've gotten the original amount of capital that you put into the position, and you're letting the remainder of the position basically ride to the 1 cent. And everything after that is a bonus, right? So, you got to think about what's your strategy. What are you gonna, what's your plan for basically your exiting the positions that you're in currently? So for me, currently, I'm holding for the long term and getting to the 1 cent position. So that's what I thought I'd share today in terms of basically how much can we likely burn with the game coming out soon. And all these are just projections, right? Projections are not real. It could come out that we could, some of these games on the some of these mobile games like hit 5 million downloads. So that could be completely different. So we could come in here and change this to like 5 million downloads at $200. It's still going to take 119 years. Okay. So let's look at let's compare this. 5 million downloads, an average spend of $9.41. It's going to take 2,532 years compared to 7,591, right? So we've reduced that by like 4,000 years, right? So it's really going to now depend on how many downloads we get and what is the average spend that's happening on the actual game. And regardless of how many downloads and how much revenue is actually burned, it's still going to start reducing the circulating supply very, very, very quickly. Okay, so if you look at how much it pumped during the last bull run, there was not a lot of burning happening. There was a bit of burning happening, but this pump up here was not purely because of burns, right? So the price action here is not completely dependent on the burn, but the burning will actually help to make the price action probably increase even further. So if you've been following Terra Luna, so if you come over and look at Terra Classic, just like 2 days ago, Binance actually announced they're going to actually start implementing the burn mechanism within Binance, and they've changed a bit of it now to incorporate the 1.2% burn tax. But when they announced they were actually going to do some type of burn on Binance, this is how much the candle shot up that day when that announcement was made. So you can see that, you know, the announcement of the burns and, you know, the actual burning of the tokens will actually influence the price, right? So this actually has shot up and it's continued to burn over the last 2 days, but, you know, you can see price action is coming down a little bit. So reducing the circulating supply in the long term, it is going to affect the price of SHIB, but, you know, it is not the only factor that is actually going to, you know, influence the price. But at the moment with SHIB, you know, it's one of the major factors because the circulating supply is just too massive and too huge. So we've got to reduce that down. You know, this is a really good step in the right direction for the whole project. So I'll leave the video here today. I hope it's been insightful. So for all those SHIB hodlers out there, I hope you're doing well. None of this is financial advice. I'm just doing my own calculations and just sharing with what I'm doing with my crypto journey. So I'll put another video up later to basically go through the walkthrough of the actual game and how some of the game mechanics work. But I'll leave that here today, and please like and subscribe if you found the content helpful. It'll really help the channel grow, and if you want to see more content about SHIB and how I've been crypto mining it as well, please subscribe and leave a comment and like the video. That's it for today, guys. See you again soon. Bye.